heck? This was not published, so hold on. I'm also going live on... let's see, delete. I'm going to go live on this channel and then on Facebook at the same time, so hold on. Hold on. Give me a second. I want you to pay attention carefully to this video because this video is going to teach you how to get the results that you want in your life and in your business. Oh, wait, here we go. I just have to click post again. All right, hold on a second. All right, hold on. All right, hold on. All right, hold on. Tagging some people. All right, we're live, but we're not live on Facebook, so just give me a second. I apologize about this. There was a problem with the post. All right. All right, John. All right. All right, here we go. This is good enough. All right. This is good enough. Good enough. I tagged some of my friends. All right, so I'm going to go grab this title, or I'll say, how to magnetically attract 5 to 10 customers in hand daily, whether you work daily from day number one in your business. All right. This is going to be a fun one. Got to wait for me to go live on Facebook, then I'm going to begin because I get more viewers on Facebook than I do on YouTube temporarily right now. 3, 2, 1. All right, everybody. Now that you're paying attention to this video, I want to encourage you to, number one, pay attention to everything that I say in this video and also every video that I pop on live with. Hey, what's up, Ricardo? Good to see you. Please feel free to like and share as we're going along, right? So this is before I complete my morning study, okay? I'm going to do this video, and this video is going to go over some principles of creating magnetic attraction in your life and also your business to the tune of, if you pay attention to this video and if you actually, hey, what's up, Darren Little? Good to see you. If you actually pay attention to this video and you actually listen to what I'm going to say, you're going to have essentially the framework mentally and emotionally, and also you're going to have a framework in your business to be able to go out there and attract clients to you who are literally begging you to join your business, whatever that is. Now, I don't know whether you're promoting a health product. I don't know if you're promoting a travel product. I don't know if you're promoting your own personal brand. I don't know if you're promoting somebody else's products, or you've got your own thing going. It doesn't matter. These principles, they're eternal principles, and they stay the same no matter what the market is doing, no matter what is going on in your life, no matter what is going on in the marketplace, no matter what is happening, these principles that I'm going to cover are going to stay the same. Now, this is going to be a fairly short video, and the reason is because I got a jet and I got to do my morning study. I actually haven't done my morning study routine, so I'm a little bit rambly. Sometimes that happens right in the morning before I do my study, so normally I do videos before that time. So in any case, let me just talk really out of the blue about how I learned these secrets and really how they changed my life. This really started for me when I was a kid. I was in a network marketing company. My dad, well, I wasn't in a network marketing company, excuse me. My dad was in the Amway Corporation, and he introduced me to Amway when I was failing in school as a kid. So I'd literally been getting like 8 Fs out of 8 Fs out of 8 Fs. And one day I was driving with my dad in the car. And when I was driving with my dad in the car, he looked at me. He's like, you know, son, you got to be the dumbest kid in the family. Now, to be fair, he remembers this story a little bit differently. But this is actually how I remember the story. And I think my version is, of course, accurate. And he probably thinks his is accurate, too. But he's like, and he was just joking, right? But I go, what are you talking about? I'm not stupid. He goes, exactly. Why are you flunking school? He's like, how are you going to provide for a family? How are you going to build a life where you're going to have some sort of a stable income? How are you going to get results in your life and really attract a partner like I attracted mom? Mom wouldn't have been attracted to a guy like you who's not making any money. I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I said, well, if I have to go to school and I have to do what society does, where I'm going to sit behind a desk and be bored all my life, in order to make $10,000 a month or something like this, I'm not going to do this because I'd rather live like a prosperous life. This makes no sense to me whatsoever, because I go to school and they're not talking about making money. I go to school and what they're talking about is they're talking about like how to do algebra and how to do history and, you know, stuff like this. Now, later in my life, I kind of learned a lesson that it would have been good for me to pay attention in mathematics. However, I didn't when I was a kid, right? And so what my dad said that, all right, if you want to get results in something different, I got something for you. And he actually took me to an Amway meeting one Thursday night. So I'm sitting there in this room and there's all these people there and there's no guests. And so the people there didn't really know this secret very well. And the guy did, the speaker knew the secret. This is the thing. The speaker knew the secret because he had a couple of guests in the room. But all the rest of the people in the room, they didn't really know this secret. And you can prove that they didn't know it by the fact that there wasn't anybody paying attention to what they were doing. And therefore, they weren't making a lot of money in their business opportunity. Because if they had known these secrets, there would have been like a ratio of guests of like 2 guests to every distributor or something like that. Like each one would have brought in like 2. Or something like that. There would have been a manifestation of the fact that they would have understood these principles of prosperity, that they would have understood how to magnetically attract people to themselves, right? So in any case, I'm in this meeting though, and here's what happens. This guy's speaking. He's drawing on a whiteboard, right? He's got really hilarious energy. He's telling jokes, and I think it's very funny, mostly because nobody in the room got his jokes. He had a very dry sense of humor, and people in Alaska, they kind of like it when you drop a piano on somebody, all right? That's the majority of the humor that's up there. It's like slapstick humor is the majority of Alaska. So we weren't literally laughing at his jokes, which I thought was actually funnier than the jokes, right? But he kept talking and talking and talking and talking and talking and talking and talking. And then finally, there's this homeless guy in the room who keeps interrupting the meeting, and it's really funny. At the end of this thing, this homeless guy says, "How much money are you making?" Right? And the guy says, "Well, it's not really fair because I just started a few years ago. It's not really fair because, blah, 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 blah. I'm a realtor. I'm just doing this on the side." And I'm like, oh, here it goes. The quantum excuse that I've heard everybody who I've ever seen in these companies say, which is basically they're afraid to say they're making no money. And then he starts writing on the whiteboard. And he wrote down $216,000 last year. And I was like, holy smokes, because at the time, that was actually a lot more money than my dad was making. Right, my dad never made that much money. He was a judge and he worked for the state, so he had a good retirement. And my dad was very wise with his money. I'll give him that. But my dad never made like $216,000 a year or $100,000 a month or anything like that. So I was like, my eyes were bugging out of my head, and all of a sudden I started to go through like this auditory visual hallucination. Just imagine myself going on vacations and going into rooms all over America and selling soap and vitamins to teenagers and homeless people. Because I'm like, hey, the reality is that that's how I got here, and I'm going to be rich, right? So in any case, I wanted to do network marketing ever since that day. Fast forward a few years later, I was a missionary. I came home after my mission. I got involved in that company. And in that company, I didn't have these secrets. So what happens is I go out and I wander around in shopping malls, which is actually, if people want to do that, they can do that. It's fantastic practice in talking to people, and even more fantastic in looking like an idiot. But the reality is that it taught me a lot. So I used to wander around in shopping malls, in Walmart and Safeway. And what I used to do is I'd just walk up to somebody and I'd say, hey, I'd look for somebody that was maybe clean shaven or something. So in other words, they look nothing like I do right now. And I'd look for somebody, maybe they're wearing a suit or whatever. And I'd walk around in a suit and I'd say, hey, you seem like a sharp person. Do you keep your business options open? And I had these pre-memorized lines that I would just like walk up with no people skills whatsoever, like no background of asking them questions. And I got very good after a while at talking to people. But I'd talk to people, start conversations, and they just kind of knew that I wanted something, right? So I wasn't really using the attraction formula. But what happened was really simple. I went out and I, brought some people in, and I eventually got up to where, I was doing a couple $1,000s a month in volume in Amway. And it just turned into this nightmare, this disaster, because I was doing product pickup and I couldn't keep track of anything because, of course, I never paid attention to algebra in school. So now I'm inviting people over to my house every week, and this is not the attraction formula, right? This is the opposite of what I wanted to do, and I couldn't figure out how to make it work. Like my brain was just like, it was not the right kind of brain to do this kind of thing every Wednesday, right? So in any case, what happened is rather than figuring it out like what a leader would have done at the time, I just quit the company and I joined something else. I joined this other company, and now what happened is I brought all these people that I sponsored into Amway into this next company, Prepaid Legal. Now, when I got into this company, Prepaid Legal, what happened was I made like a few $1,000s one week. And the reason I did was because I basically took all my Amway people and I got them in this new deal, and they had this upfront commission model. So like I was like, I'm going to be rich. And of course, what I do with the money, I spent it all, right? Which was the dumbest thing ever because it did not come that way the next month and the next month after that. And then I was like, okay, the problem is Prepaid Legal. What I need is I need a new hot deal. And that eventually led me to joining Agile Enterprises, where I think they're still around, actually. I I was in Eric Worre's organization over in Agile, right? And so I was excited because he got in, and I'd learned some secrets of recruiting from him years before. Like the only people I ever recruited were at that point using his script. He had a very good script for recruiting people in meetings, right? And so I learned that from him, and then I learned how to recruit in meetings. Well, here's what's happened next. I was in that company. I got to making like $3,000 a month, just talking to people on street corners, just hitting up my friends and family, doing home meetings and stuff like that. And then I got so exhausted that I just got burnt out and I quit. You say, well, why did you get exhausted? I got exhausted because I was running around doing three-way calls, running around doing home parties. And it was continuous, never-ending people like booking a home party and not showing up. And then I had some people who showed up as well. And the reality was I used to get phone calls at like midnight, with people who, prospects. In other words, I couldn't schedule my time. It was like nonstop from the time I woke up till the time I go to bed. My downline needed me to help them to close their sales because there wasn't really a clear, concise formula for them to just do it on their own. Right. And so eventually what happened is people got burnt out in my organization. I got burnt out kind of all at the same time. We all kind of just stopped working. And then my income kind of dwindled down, got to $2,000 a month, got to $1,500 a month, got to $1,000 a month. And then eventually I was just making nothing and had to go get a job again. And I was like, screw network marketing. This is like the most awful thing ever. So I took a break for a little while. But I couldn't really take a break for that long. And the reason is because once it's in your bones, it's just in your bones. This is the way that it is. The industry brings you in because it's very exciting. Once you know how to make a lot of money, making a lot of money is not really the most exciting thing ever for most people. Some people just find it continuous exciting, but after a while, it's like, I got my Ferrari, I got my sailboat, I've got all the vacations I ever wanted to travel in, like all the women that I ever wanted, they all want me, or I'm married, I'm in a relationship, or I've got a husband, or I've got a wife, or whatever it is, right? And after a while, it's like, people are looking at you and they're like, you got all this money. And so you got to get excited about something else. Well, what a lot of people like me do in network marketing is they really get excited about the people. So what happens is there's really nothing like when you get in a room of people and when the light flips on and somebody believes for the very first time that they can do something that's great in their life. That's really the magic of network marketing, right? You say, well, what's the magic really? Well, the magic is when a leader learns how to become a leader, number one, by reaching up and allowing their upline to help them become a leader. That's magic. Because you're allowing somebody with more credibility than you to come into your life and then to teach you some skills, right? And when they teach you those skills, what happens is that your life takes off. And when your life takes off, that's the first magic. So the first magic is actually when you take off, when you start producing sales, when you start producing results, when you start creating the results that you want, when you start getting customers, when you start having people come to you with their credit cards in hand, ready to buy, they're practically drooling because they want to buy so bad. You say, Dave, why are they drooling? It's because it's kind of like they're seeing a cheesecake, but this time the cheesecake is made of commission. So they're actually really excited to work with you and they're really excited to get around you, right? And the reason is because you're teaching them skills and they saw the transformation that you went through. And then they want a similar kind of transformation as to the transformation that you had that enabled you to create those results that you wanted in your business. Okay. So my point is with this is that when you go through a transformation, then that gives you permission and it gives the universe permission to help you to lead others. What do you do then? You take that message and you help others go through that same transformation. So you help them work in their business. You help them get started right. You help them get plugged into a team system. You help that person to understand the model. You let them talk to you and you stay connected with them and you maybe read books together with them in groups and things like this as your team grows and as you no longer can handle it one-on-one. And then you teach them step-by-step formulas and step-by-step skills that they can utilize and they can master in their business in order to create a kind of results and a kind of wealth and a kind of growth that literally nobody can fathom, right? And that's because you're doing it together. You're building it together. And this is really what network marketing is all about. It's not about you. It's not about just me. It's about what is a business without the customer? What is the customer without the person that makes the product, right? Neither exist. We got to make sure that we keep things in balance and keep things in mind that what business is really about serving people. And when you understand that business is really about serving people and that you can take a person that's at zero, that's never had results in their life, and you can help that person to go from zero to making $100 a month, from going $100 a month to making $500 a month, from making $500 a month to making $2,500 a month, from making $2,500 a month to making, $1,000, $10,000, $100,000, to making $1 million a month, when you realize that you can help a person go through exponential growth and expansion, that you can help that person to really go to the beaches of the world and to live their dream lifestyle and to be able to create the results that they want for the rest of their life, if they'll just simply listen to you, when you have the authority and when you have the power and when you have the personal charisma to look at a person and say, hey, just look in my eyes. I want you to pay attention. I want you to listen to me. If you listen to me and if you listen to exactly what I teach you to do and you watch what I'm doing and you simply do it, you're going to get to the promised land. You're going to travel to the beaches of the world. You're going to get the results that you want in your life and your business with your products. You're going to sell the products that you want to sell. You're going to be able to succeed. But now you're on the line and you say, well, why am I on the line after I say that? Because now you got to deliver on the promise and you got to deliver on your side, which is to lead the example. Okay? Does that make sense? So you then go out and you lead by example, building a model that they can follow, right? And how do you lead by example? Well, there's a few keys that are going to help you to create quantum level results in your business that I want everybody here to understand. Number one thing that you want to understand is that you've got to have an intention for everything that you do. If you don't have an intention for your business, if you don't have an intention for your products, if you don't have an intention for what you're going to create in your life, the reality is that the people around you, right, they're not going to really buy into what you're doing because you're not clear on what you want. And when you're not actually clear on what you want, they're not clear on what they want with you. Does that make sense? So it starts by getting clear on what you want and putting that intention with a lot of force out there in the quantum universe. So what most people do with an intention is they'll do something like write it down, which is powerful. But then it's a little bit more powerful if you write it down and you have a little bit of emotional energy. A little bit of emotional energy makes it a little bit more powerful. Then it's even more powerful if you write it down with you have a little emotional energy and you visualize it clearly. For example, let's say your intention is to get 5 customers by the end of the day. You write a crystal clear intention. You say, I'm getting 5 customers by the end of the day, right? It's the end of the day, and then you go to the outcome. I'm writing, I'm sitting here with my 5 customers. We're hanging out in a room together. We're hanging out in a Zoom together, and I'm walking them through the orientation of how to use the product, right? Or I'm getting in 5 customers, and I'm bringing in 1 recruit today, no matter what, before the bed goes down. And you write that intention, and then you go. And at the end of the day, you're sitting there, and you're on that hangout, and you see yourself, and you feel that emotional energy, and you say, I did it. We did it together, right? You say, I did it, right? You celebrate, right? And you celebrate in your imagination the victory as you're radiating emotional energy, and you see it in perfect crystal clarity, right? And that's what you want to do. Just imagine an intention that you've got right now. Make it bright, make it 3-dimensional, make a symbol of it. So for example, if you're getting 5 customers, you could make a symbol of that. The symbol is like what you're going to buy from that or something like that, right? So you could say, I'm going to get 5 customers. That's going to make me $250 on average, right? So what I'm going to do with that $250, if that was me, I would just take $250 and I would just take 10%, send it to my church and send the 90% to my wife for the kids until the child support and stuff like that. It's all caught up in everything that I've talked about, right? So in any case, that's what I do. And you could do things differently. For example, let's say you're making $1 million a month. You could take the money that you're making and you could pay off debt and you could pay off charity and you could pay off debt. You could give it to charity, right? You could build local communities in Africa. You could buy a Ferrari. I mean, there's a million things that you can do with money. My point is what are you going to do with your money? Okay, where are you going to send it? So you got to know what you're going to do with this money in advance, because if you don't know what you're going to do with it, you're not going to be excited enough to actually go out there and produce the result and produce the outcome that you're going to get, right? So first of all, you got to have something that gets you excited. You have to have something that's going to get other people excited. You have to have something that's going to align what's called your ant and your elephant. You have a massive unconscious mind, and then you have a conscious mind that's paying attention to a few things at once, right? Well, if the whole unconscious mind is trying to do this over here, and you're trying to do something over here, and your unconscious mind is like screaming at you, you have a misalignment between your ant and your elephant. And if you have a misalignment between the ant and the elephant, then what happens is you're not going to get the results that you want. So what do you want to do? You want to snap them into alignment. You want to snap them into oneness. And that you do that by releasing your intention to your unconscious mind. So for example, you visualize bright 3-dimensional, like a giant thing that's full of gold and silver, for example, and you're holding it, and it's heavy because it's gold and silver, and gold and silver weighs a lot. I mean, you can barely hold this thing up. It's got so much gold and silver on it. You're feeling the physical weight. You're breathing. You're generating the emotional energy, and then you just toss it into the universe, and you say, I ask you to bring it to me, right? Or you ask your higher power to bring it to you, or you say, I ask my unconscious mind to do everything that it takes to bring this result to me now, right? And then from there, what you do is you go on to make your plan. Right? You go on to make your action plan from your intention. See, the action plan has got to flow from the outcome, which flows from the intention. And if you're not doing it in that order, what happens is that you're not going to get the result that you want, because it's got to start in your heart and go to your mind and then go out into action mode, which is the work. It's like, imagine 1 million people, and you go into the ground, and they're lifting up shovels, and then your symbol of work, which is a computer in front of you, and you're working all day and night, and your eyes are like this. They're like focused on exactly what it is that you're doing, and you're doing whatever it takes. You're typing sales copy, you're typing emails that go out, you're hitting the send button. People, imagine your customers on the other side, and they see the headline of your email, and your headline's so good that they actually open up their email, and they open their email, and they open their message, and they read your email that you sent them, right? And then what they do is they click on that, and there's a video, and then they see the video on there, and what they do is they hit a button to request information. Maybe they hit a button to ask you for a link on Facebook. Maybe they actually hit a button that goes to the sales presentation. So you've got your presentation, and then you've actually got a sales presentation that the people are going to watch. So they click first your introduction to the presentation, and then what they do is they click the sales presentation, they click the sales presentation, and then maybe you have a link to buy, or maybe you have a link to, hey, request me for join, because I've got a lot of people in line. We're putting people right underneath each other. And then that way I make sure that your request is in before their request is in, and we can bring somebody in underneath you right away. You use whatever psychology you can use in the sales video, and in that video, understanding that people don't sustain their behavior off of hype only, right? So hype is great for building movements. I think that I'm better at building hype than anybody that I've ever met, right? I'm very good at building hype. However, it's not good at sustaining movements. And so it's important that if there's hype, that hype has promises that are followed through on the back end that sustains people in that decision. And there's lots of ways to build hype, and there's lots of ways to build movements, right? So what are the real secrets in order to making that whole process work? The whole secret to making that whole process work is really, right, leading with value. And you say, well, what do you mean by that? You got to think about it like this, okay? If you've got your entire market, and your entire market is like this, I've only got like 5 more minutes, okay? Let's say your entire market, I'm going to go a little bit long. Your entire market is this big, okay? And the reality is that all the people in that market, maybe they're doing something else. Maybe they've got something else going on. Maybe they're building another business. Maybe they're building another opportunity. Maybe that person in that market, they just want to sell their own products. Maybe they just want to learn to sell. Maybe they actually want a sponsor who can reach out to them and talk to them on the phone. Now, maybe what this person wants is they want to be a part of a team. They want to be a part of a community. So you got to find a way to give value while you're speaking to all these people's problems. The way you speak to their problems is very simple. You show them how to do what it is that they're looking to do. So let's say a person is looking for how to make capture pages to sell their products. Well, if you showed up in a YouTube video on how to make capture pages that sell their products, and that's what they were looking for, that's actually what they were searching for on Google and YouTube, right? Then all of a sudden they find your video, and your video gives them more value than the other video because you also tell jokes, you also tell stories, you also give them some suggestions on how to make it work really well, and you do it for free. Then all of a sudden you give a call to action in order to click on the link below that video. And then when they click on the link below that video, that takes those people to a capture page where you captured their information. And because they already know you before they go to the page, you're going to get very high conversions on a good page. And then what you do with those people, what do? Well, I would capture a little bit of information, and then I would have a more detailed video that captured a little bit more information so you can actually connect with them. Like capture their phone number, capture their Facebook, capture some way of communicating with them, but maybe do it on step 2, because if you do it on step 1, you're not going to get all the emails, right? So in other words, you want to capture emails from as many of these people as you possibly can. Capture the emails, then send them through an introductory video, and then have them go through some sort of process, for example, where they either go right to a sales presentation, but to get there, they got to put in their phone number, or they go to your Facebook to request a link. You can just have a link to your Facebook. And then they say, hey, I'm interested in this link. And they add you as a friend. So now you're connected on more than one social network. You move them from one environment to another environment. And then what happens is now the person is asking you because they've actually put in their email. So when you call them, they can't say, hey, I'm not expecting the call. They can't say, hey, I'm not interested in that. They actually just put in their information, and they said online that they are interested in it. So they're like, oh, yeah, I did do that. You say, well, how can I help you? And now all of a sudden you have an inbound conversation, an inbound relationship that's very easy to close 95% of the time if you simply are willing to follow a proven formula, right? And I'll cover the proven formula in a later video because I'm done with this video. So this is how to bring them to you. So what are you really looking for to create that kind of results? Well, it depends on your process. If your process is maybe SEO, YouTube SEO driven, right? You can get like a good 15 to 25% of your leads buying something if you're actually communicating with them. You don't need a lot of leads to make a lot of money. People who think they need a lot of leads to make a lot of money, they don't know how to do what I know how to do. But also, it's different if you do, for example, paid traffic to generate sales versus if you're doing something like YouTube videos that creates more of a warm kind of a traffic because it's personality based a little bit. So if you put your valuable content out on YouTube, and then that valuable content that goes to what? The valuable content goes to a capture page. The capture page content, it goes to a video. That video content, where does it go next? That video content goes to, maybe a personal connection or a sales video. You can just decide on that step and test what works better for you, right? Depending on how good you are will depend on how good that sales video is going to perform for you. But really, in my opinion, the video that you should get them into first is a product video that has really high value, that has really low cost. Something that's like a front end. Think about it like a front end for products. You say, why would you want to do that on the front end? Because you're actually getting somebody to take some kind of action, right? That then you can take and you can expand the relationship from that action. So in other words, they already did something that you said. They already followed through on a promise that you made them. They already went and they did something that you are going to help them do, right? They already maybe bought something that's maybe $7. So for example, I've been doing a lot of prosperity training and stuff like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a course based on some of the stuff that I've been teaching, the visualization and whatever. That's going to be some low front end ticket course that I can just build relationships with. It's very easy to do with something like ClickFunnels or whatever, because these products, they're very cheap, right, to make. You don't really need a lot of tools to make a product like that. You can do it with ClickFunnels. You can have people collect payments on PayPal, right? That's something, for example, where you could go and you could create some kind of value on the front end that you get for free that goes into some sort of more advanced value. And now you've got this relationship of this customer group in front of you. So you've got this relationships with these customers in front of you, and it's 5 minutes. And then I got to tell you what to do with those customers. But I'm not going to do that now. I'm going to do that later today. So what I want you to do is I want you to pay attention to everything that I put out on this page today, right? Because I have a goal today of helping you to go out in your business and to get a minimum of a few customers in your business, no matter what you're promoting, no matter what your business is. And if you take these strategies that I just outlined and you kind of build your own strategy around it, and then you go take what you learned and then you go make a video with what you learned, right? And then you're teaching what you learned, and you learn, you do, and then you review, right? That's the formula. Learn, do, teach simultaneously, or you learn, you do, you teach simultaneously. And then what you do is at the end of the day, you, for example, do a review of the results that you got. And now all of a sudden you do have, what's up, Curtis? Now so then you do have a little bit of results to share with the marketplace. So anyways, I'm actually done with this video, Curtis. Thanks for joining in. I'm going to go. Feel free to like this. Feel free to share this video. And I'll come out later in the day after I'm done with my study. And I'll help you get some other strategies that are going to help you to get the results that you want in your life and in your business. And what this is really like is this is like you're walking down a golden road. And it's paved with solid gold and silver. Your feet are walking down it in slow motion. Pause your foot. Look at the gold and silver below you. Now look up and you see in front of you a mountain. And you see a sign to your left and it says the promised land. It's pointing to the mountain. And so what you do right now is you take your first step by doing your first video that leads you to the promised land later. Appreciate you. I'll see you on the beaches of the world. Please look out for my next video. And thanks for joining me. Oh, I'm still on here. I'm sorry. I thought I shut this off. See you later, okay?